Surprise. Hi, Alison. Hi, Dan. And hi, everyone. And welcome to our Danziger Live today. My name is Betty Finkelstein, and I'm the marketing manager for the cut flowers in Danziger, a breeding company, whom you most probably know and familiar with their products such as Gypsophylact, Million Stars and Excellence, Scoop Scabiosa, Painful Cresperia, and many, many others. Today, I have the pleasure of having Alison with us, hosting Dan Xavier from Denmark, far Denmark. And we are going to talk about colors, trends in design. I'm curious to see what Dan prepared for us. I'm sure it will be beautiful and inspiring. Before we start, I remind you all that we have the option to ask questions and send comments and remarks on our chat in our Zoom and also in our Facebook page, Danziger Live. You can also ask questions there, and Alison and Dan will do their best to answer everyone. If you didn't do so before, we invite you to follow us on Danziger Live Facebook page, where you can see the webinar afterwards, the recording. You can also hear about the upcoming ones. And of course, we invite you to share your work and design and ask questions. Alison is managing this site, and she and her lovely friends will be more than happy to comment on your work and to give you feedback. Usually it's exquisite, so I'm sure it will be very interesting and inspiring to others to see. Also, I invite you to follow us on our Instagram page, Imagine More Flowers, which we always use new designs also of your wonderful work with our products. So it will be nice to have you on board with us. And this is it for today. So I invite you to stay with us and learn a little bit more about colors in design with Alison and Dan. Alison, the stage is all yours. Have fun.
Okay, thanks, Betty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Hello, my darling Dan. Well, actually, that's quite a good description of who you are. Denmark Dan, Danish Dan. Sounds like a Danish pastry or something like that. I've known Dan for quite a long time now. I would classify us as good friends. He's another Harry Potter freak, which is okay in my book, and is highly, highly talented person in more than just floristry. He does other things too. Before they increased the price of postage, I was going to send you a hunk of fabric because you're into sewing the same as I am, but more of that later. So, Dan, tell us about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Don't need to tell about myself to Alison, so I will do it to all the other viewers. My name is Dan Xavier, and not Danish pastry, but a Danish guy. I live, of course, in Denmark. I live in quite close to the second biggest city in Denmark. That would be Aarhus, in a small town called Skanderborg. That was really Danish. And from here, I'm having a little workshop. That is the place you see here. And besides of that, I'm a teacher at one of the two Danish government-run schools.
And actually, you've taught this subject for quite a while at your school, haven't you?
Yeah, it ended up being me teaching that. We on our school we are 3 teachers teaching floristry,
right.
And the subject about colors just ended in my head for 6 years ago, and then I was reading, and well, so I've been teaching it for about 6-7 years. Yeah.
Sure. And you incorporate that because most people for a while there went for sort of tonal designs, a lot of harmony in designs, and then suddenly out of the blue there was all this, contrasting thing. And I think, argue if you want, I think during COVID although some people try to go for multitudinous color, they're more sort of subdued colors for a while, because maybe people were staying at home and, you know, feeling a wee bit threatened by everything that was going on. So, and the other thing about Danish, well, Nordic design, I'm going to, if I may, Nordic design is your use of transparency is world famous, really. You know, you guys were the leaders in this, way ahead of anyone else. So is that still the case with you?
It is, mostly because I would say it's very, very typical that being a northern florist, we don't just teach the flower head, but also the stem and the love of the stem and the movement of stem that would usually need quite some transparency.
But also there's the cost of getting flowers up to the northern block is considerable.
It's not as awful in Denmark as it is in Norway and Sweden, but yeah.
So maybe that's more of an ethos for using every part of the flower is actually it's a good learning curve for any florist, I would have said.
It is.
Yeah. So what have you got to show us today?
A whole lot of fun stuff, of course, based on flowers.
Yeah.
We are going to talk a lot about contrast, of course, because that is the way we usually use flowers. And I've tried to work a little broader than we usually just understand that. Well, the most of us understand the contrast cold and warm, but we also have some other steps that would be fun to work with. So that is the case I've done today.
Okay, that sounds like good. So, okay, bring it on, baby.
Bring them on. Well, the first thing I've done is quite a big bouquet.
Yeah.
This is made mainly of the Gypsophila excellence.
Excellence, yeah.
Yeah. And the fun thing is I did myself a task. So I said, could it be possible to do a interest design just using 2 flowers? So that was the design here. So it's only Gypsophila, and it's I just need to remember the right name. It's the scabiosa, and it's the one called purple lace. It's the one that is white and yellow.
Beautiful.
White and purple, sorry.
That's okay. I'm loving the fact that you're.
So the thing here was that when you have quite a wide broad way between the white and the dark, so this would be a light dark contrast. Yes. You need to add some steps, and I've used design parts like feathers and some wool and some butterflies that would just broaden out, so it won't be so hard having the dark thing against the white thing.
And is that a covered wire structure in the center there, Dan?
The sensor is, I really love the amount when you can add some negative space, and that was what I tried here. It is the normal aluminum wire, just in a white.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So nice. it's white from the start, and I just made a circle and tied the bouquet totally normally around it. And what I like is when we work with color and we really work with color in a way like this. I like that usually people just tie the bouquet with a green strand and then it's nothing like that. But I like that the tied point is part of a design as well. So it's when you work with it like this, it could stand, and then you can see this point is a part of the design as well as just the flowers.
And is gyp popular in Denmark?
It has some ups and downs periods. For the moment, it's not that popular actually. Mostly, I think because in Danish, when you translate it, it's translated to well, this is directly translating from Danish to English, so it would be the veil of the bride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and when a flower has a name like that, usually, well, it's quite specific what you are going to use it for.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay, good.
So that was the first design. So speaking of the veil of the bride, let's bring on a bridal bouquet.
Okay.
This one is nearly done. I just need to finish it off. This is a structure made out of golden aluminium wire, and I've tied I'm not quite sure what that would be called in English, a U shape.
A fan shape. It looks more like a fan.
A fan, yes.
A fan shape,
That's
yeah.
the one I was looking for. And this is made by the Crespedium paintball top.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah, there is 25 stems here.
Okay.
No, 50, I think. Sorry, can't remember. Doesn't matter. And in the gaps in between those really nice yellow, I would almost say balls, but that would be too naughty. So in between those yellow flowers, I've glued in some calanchoe in orange. Those are from Danziger as well, and the apricot lemonium.
Gorgeous.
Just for a little fun contrast, I would add.
Danziger are very proud of what we jokingly, sorry everybody, called their big balls. They were very, when we were talking about the paintball Crespedium.
It's hard not to call that a naughty thing.
I know, because the women concerned just burst into hysterical laughter, but it's true, isn't it? And
Yeah.
It's great. It's got such lasting properties as well. It dries well.
It's a really, really, really nice flower. Of course, the problem is the color. Danish brides don't that much like yellow. Some does. We had a trend for, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago where everything was green and yellow. Then we of course used them a lot, but it's a little bit another trend for the moment. But I still love it, mostly because this is a design you could make for almost a week in advance, and then you can just finish it up.
Exactly.
And when my shop is quite a small shop, and when you have a small shop, it's really nice to know those small tricks that can make you prepare something in beforehand.
So let me see.
I just added a orchid and some a green Hoya.
Okay.
To visualize it a bit. So this would be the finished design.
Gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But
of course, it's not that transparent, but
but it's still petite and beautiful. So it's fine. I've got a question here from from Garrett Skopinski from the USA. You know Garrett, I think.
He visited me actually when he went to Denmark for a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, was he competing or exhibiting somewhere?
Yes. Yeah, he was competing in Landmark.
Okay, so he's saying, what are your thoughts on extreme dyed and painted flowers that come in crazy colors like rainbow glitter or metallic roses or the anthurium that we have seen here or we have here in the USA? What are your thoughts, Dan?
I would say 2 things actually.
Go.
Color, let's just call them color enhanced flowers. I first of all like those because then they are a little bit more natural looking. But to be honest, I actually do like that unicorn world that the other stuff is having the opportunity to do. The biggest problem in Denmark is that everything that is colored like that is extremely expensive. So it's hard to sell stuff colored like that. But I actually love it. I really like it. But I like it because it gives the some color opportunities that you don't have natural.
Yeah, sure.
But I would never use a colored flower that is colored into a color I could have something that is naturally in that color.
Heidi Lou is asking, is that a Miltonian orchid you put in there?
Yeah, it is.
There you go. 10 points to Heidi. Well done.
And it actually is fragrant, so it has a nice smell to it as well.
I love fragrant orchids. Yeah. We've also got a big hi from Christiane in Singapore.
Hi, Christian.
Okay.
It's going quick today, isn't it? Well, let's just work on.
Yeah. Okay. It's good.
The next design is a fun way to work. Well, usually we work with colors together.
Yeah.
And this design is doing the opposite. This design is only working with green. So the base here is made out of the green dragon. Yeah. And when you are working in totally monochrome color combinations, you need to work quite obvious with other stuff, so it still have some interest into it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It is actually just, I would say, just is just an awful word, but it is a cut out sphere of oasis, and I've covered it with the wool from Lena.
Yeah.
It's actually covered with a new variety called Brits. This one.
Oh, that's nice. Oh,
yeah.
Is this one that's got like a fabric impregnation?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It has those. I would say, is it called Jude in English too?
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah. It has this net. That's quite cool because that makes it really natural looking.
Yeah.
So I just covered the sphere with that, and then I just pressed the dragon, the green dragon into it, and I sprayed everything with spray glue, and then just tucked it all together so it would last the shape quite well.
Yes.
This is actually a couple of days old as well, and these don't have water, so they last very well when you're doing it that way.
That's cool. Yeah.
So now I just have those three. You could call them Christmas trees. When I did them, I had a little laugh because they reminded me of those trolls.
Yeah.
So I have this intersection in between the three balls, and I would just like to work also green in between.
Yeah.
I have green anthuriums, and then I would just place them in between to have this connection between the green flowers here.
Heidi Lou's come back with another question. Is it Kokedama orchid that you used? Yeah. I don't know. I know it's Miltonian, but
I'm not quite sure if it has another name.
Sure,
but
Heidi. I will not tell a lie. If you don't know, we'll tell you. Oh, the Kokedama technique. The Kokedama technique. Well, that's a new one to me. Have you heard of a Kokedama technique, darling?
Well, I know it as a technique, but I've not. Well, this one is just a normal pot plant from my shop.
Right, so it's a normal pot plant.
Yeah.
And is there a specific reason that you've gone for some of the varieties that you've chosen from Danziger?
Well, in a minute, I will show quite a lot of the scabiosas because I really, really, really love scabiosas, and the varieties they have going from really big to really small, I really, really, really love.
Yeah.
I was not completely able to get one of the ones that I really wanted because they have one that is really like salmony pinkish. I really love that one. It was not able for me to source it, but I would have loved to have it.
Oh yeah. It's funny, you know, it depends on, you know, just availability.
Yeah, it does. But I have this one.
Oh,
I love this one.
Yeah.
Look how long the stem is.
I know. The stems are so good. Yeah.
Huge.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
We had a picture that we posted on Danziger Live Facebook page a while back of the lady in there cutting the scabiosa, and the look on her face said, oh, she was just having a wonderful time.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine you in there as well. I've seen you in with growers. Okay, so Jane. Oh, hi, Jane. How are you doing? Wrapping plants in moss is kokedama as a planting technique. Great piece, Dan, by the way. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was quite exciting. You know, there's days where I feel, I did say to Betty once, don't you worry about anything. I can keep talking to a blank wall and it's no problem to me.
I would just say that would be the first time I went black.
You went what?
Black. Blacked out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Great.
So yeah, but yeah, I know the kokedama technique. Yeah, and you can use it for orchids. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, that's gorgeous.
This is
yes.
a really less small design. Not trying to overdo it quite in the northern way.
No. It's, you know, there's a strong question about the amount of you know, people are used to it that at events, large scale designs heavily packed with flowers, and you have to ask, how long can that go on?
Yeah.
I think actually opening our minds to a less is more situation is definitely the way ahead in terms of flourishing.
I was actually thinking about it when I was doing one of the other designs that I'll show you in a minute. And in these times, I'm not quite sure how it is in other countries, but in Denmark we have the bigger grocery stores is actually hiring not that educated designers to do flowers at their places for extremely low cost. So I was thinking, well, if we need to keep our customers, I think we really need to show ourselves as designers, and we really need to up the design thing, because, well, when you're not that well educated, this is not nicely said, but when you are not that, you can usually do quite big works with a lot of flowers, and then it would look awesome. But reducing all the other steps, you need to have a quite big knowledge of designing, because otherwise you can't do it.
That's a question I have often been asked. Is it easier to do a large scale design or a small scale design? And my answer has foxed quite a few people over the years. I always say, yeah, it's easier to do a large design because you have more places to hide. If you start reducing things, and if you get back down to, if you like, basics, then there's nowhere to hide. So it has to be right. Yeah. It's about also educating the public into what is good and what is not good, because we see a lot of so-called designs these days that are frankly frightening, you know, in some cases a health hazard, it has to be said.
Yeah.
So knowledge is an empowerment. Greece has come online. Hello, Athens and Greece. There's a thought. I love Athens. Well, I love Greece. Love the Greece.
Never been there, but I'd love to go there some way.
Oh, you'd love it. Do you know?
Yeah. Well,
on you go.
This was actually the green design.
Okay, that was the green design, everyone. That was definitely green design. Yeah, when I've had trauma in my life, it's the country I go to is Greece. It's good for my soul, actually. I love the Greek people. They know how to party. Oh my. Opa! Right, here we go.
Opa. Well, let's do this one.
Ah. Aha. Okay.
Talking about design.
Yeah, somewhat different. Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too messy, because this is quite a busy piece. So hopefully you can see it well. This is a construction actually made of the first competition I won This is the prize, the vase from Holland.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the vase that I won at the Wim Hassler.
I remember.
So I worked at that, and I created this cascading, moving the focal point away from the I would almost say vehicle, from the vase.
Okay.
Yeah. And yet again, and to be honest, that is why I love working with wool and all the other stuff like that, because it's so easy to make a structure that already has a certain color feeling to it before you add flowers.
Sure.
So this structure is made with small pieces of the wool in two colors. This is purple and this is pink.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also not as broad a translation on the interpretation on the light dark contrast. So it's not as bright as white going into burgundy, but it's the same understanding.
Okay.
And that was why I wanted to do this design. Everything is placed into tubes on the back side, and well, let's just call it like flowers having fun on the upper side.
Oh, yummy, yummy.
There's two types of the scabiosa.
Yeah.
The purple lace, and the other one is called red velvet.
Beautiful.
And there is the bluish purplish limonium called dark blue. And there is just hiding. So this would be, you need to go a little bit deeper into the design to see it, but I have two strong lines of liatres crossing in between. These are placed with the flowers up here.
Yeah.
And of course, again, to vitalize the design a little bit, I added some hedera to give it a little bit of green, unless if it don't have that green feeling to it, then it would see really artificial out.
So, and you're on a metal framework? A wire framework?
Maybe you can see it if I turn it around.
Oh, there we go. Uh-huh. Okay.
So to be honest, this would be a really Gregor thing. It's put on the vase using the spiderweb technique.
Yeah.
And everything is just turned together with stop wires.
Yeah.
I love the way you can work with stop wires, because you can make a structure that is really good lasting. This is actually a older piece. I made the structure for some month ago.
Yeah.
And I've used it again and again. And that is what I love doing these types of designs. When you use quite a lot of time to do a structure, you can use them again and again to maybe rent them out for corporate works and stuff like that. And then you get them back, and then you can just replace the flowers.
I know Gregor, who of course originated the spider web technique, always said there were the strong point of his shop when he still owned it was that he changed designs in corporate environments, mostly hotels, it has to be said, and the local vineyard. I wonder why the vineyard, but anyway, the vineyard, who knows? And he could ring the changes, because as you say, you know, you've got the structure, and the vase is gorgeous. When I first started in design, there was way before you were even in the sperm bank, darling, way before. But it was actually, you shouldn't see the vase, you shouldn't see the container. And then as the years elapsed, the vase, the container, or whatever, the support became part of the overall design. And I love that, because there's nothing more annoying than having to cover up something that's beautiful. But that is gorgeous. That would do really well in a corporate environment. I have a question from lovely Jennifer, who comes from Canada, or Canada to other people, and she would like to know, which spray glue did you use for the Pythium Green Dragon?
Just the one from. Well, this is actually a cover up, because I know, as far as I recall, this is from Oasis.
Okay, so it was an Oasis spray glue, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And she's also asking, can we go over again how the structure was actually made? Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll let Dan answer this, but I know how.
I cut out mostly because when you buy done spheres in Oasis, they're quite expensive. So when you're going to cover it up anyway, I just don't need it to be that brown. Yeah. So I just took half of a brick and then almost did it as round as I could, just using a normal knife. Then I placed it into water, of course, and then I just covered it with wool, stripes of the wool.
Darling, can I stop you there? It's actually this wire structure she wants to know about. The one beside you. My apologies.
It's okay. Doesn't matter.
My apologies.
Let's see just if I remember it. Yes. First of all, I made the connection to the vase. I think usually that's the easiest way to start, but it depends on what you're doing. But normally I would start doing that on the vase. It is an uneven number of stop wires, and they are just placed. Well, I can show you actually.
Is it a 1.88?
Sorry?
Is it 1.88? The wire?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And this is actually the long one of them.
Sure.
This is the one that I can buy them here in Denmark. That they are a meter.
Perfect.
And then I'll just do this in green because otherwise I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll just do it in a small scale. Mm-hmm. But you need an uneven number of wires, and then you just place them out to each side, like that. Yeah. And then you just go over, under, over, under, over, under. Here in Denmark, when it's winter and you're going into kindergarten, we are using this technique to do what you in Denmark would call a chestnut spiderweb. You just take a chestnut and then you poke it with toothpicks and in an uneven number, and then you cover it in yarn just like this.
Oh boy! Okay, I've never heard of that before, but fine.
Yeah. Well, and then you're just going over and under until then you have the width of the vase, depending on how big it is, of course. Yeah, of course. And when it's big enough, you just bend the ends around the edge of the vase, and then you can just, if it's well secured, you can usually just keep the wire on and then tighten it that way. Otherwise, it would be kneadable, and I've done that. I've just taken a wire to place it around the rim of the vase, and then I twirled it around, and then I just tied it up this way. And then I just took the same wire and I covered both legs. So I took half of them going one way, half of them going the other way. And I'm saying just, it's not just. Shouldn't we just stop saying just?
Stop saying just. It's not quite as simple as that.
No. Well, so I made a, what would you call that? A piece like this, in this shape. And I covered it, and then I tied it together so it would be stable down here. And I did it one more time up here, and that is the legs that I've attached the
tubes.
The tubes onto.
Yeah, and you made the little feet for it to stand on as well.
Yes, so it wouldn't look that heavy.
And as Dan says, Laura, you can use that time and time again. It's a great technique. To be honest, I actually quite like it when it's rusted. You know, when the wire rusts down, I have been known to leave them outside because I like the rusted look. Yeah,
I prefer it as well, mostly because when it's new, it's also oftenly quite important when it's still looking shiny. So I like it when it rusted as well, because then it looks way more organic than it would be when you just made it. Yeah,
really organic. Yeah. Okay, well, that's great. And Jennifer says, thank you. Very nice. I love it. There you go.
Thank you.
You're a new best friend. You're a new fan anyway. That's good. You like it.
So then there's 2.5 things to go.
2.5 things.
Yeah.
2.5 things to
It's
go.
fast today because I pre-made a lot. Well, this is actually a totally quick thing. I had intended to end with it, but I'll take it now because when we started doing this live, when we met up on beforehand, we had a chat on the one way and the other way, and when we did that, I would try to see how big I could do a design. So when we were talking, I did a design when we were talking, and it's done basically of scraps, and that was why I think it was fun to do. Because when you work with the normal ammonium, often there is quite a lot that is broken, or you maybe need to cut a lot of it away.
Mhm.
So I actually just took all the cutoffs and I tied it onto a aluminium wire,
Yes.
and I just glued 3 of the scabiosas into it.
Beautiful.
And then that would be a wearable
feet.
piece.
Yes. A bit of body decor. Not that you're known for body decor, let's face it. Ha ha.
That's how it is, yeah.
I should tell you that Dan also has a jewelry making business. Yeah, he's wearing one of his pieces there. I can see on your yeah. But so am I. Can I just say, this is one that Dan made for me because I love owls. Can you see the owl eyes and head and the little beak? And he brought this to me when we were together.
Yeah, when that was possible.
Oh, sure. We were in IPMS and he sneaked up behind me. I was very overcome. I love it because I love owls to bits. Yeah. Oh, here you go. Garrett says I also have my Dan original on right now. How good is that? Oh, yeah. Hi, Liat. You're on screen. How nice to see you. Liat, by the way, is in Portugal, sunning herself the rotten rat. But
hi. Okay. Sorry to come in your middle.
Oh, you're allowed to come in the middle because we like you. But okay, she's
always.
We're out to sunbathe now, the rat. Okay, this is gorgeous. It's quite interesting because I am fascinated by body decor and how it's become a big thing in the floral industry. And I don't think that Betty was aware of how big a demand for these kind of pieces there is in the industry. Are you commissioned quite often to do floral?
Well, it would for the moment not be body pieces, but I actually think that going towards this greener thing and people asking for that, I would think that body jewelry or body wear pieces would be bigger. For the moment here in Denmark, it would often mostly just be head pieces, but we do that quite often.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a lot. So this is all made from the offcuts of Lemonium, the potential breakages, etc., and then formed onto aluminium wire. It's lovely. It's lovely. I've seen a huge one, not like that, of course, because I love, but I did see someone make this huge piece of body decor, and it looked like an anaconda had wrapped themselves around this person's body, possibly choking them to death in the process. But no, but that's gorgeous. I love the tonal colors, Dan.
The fun thing is it's maybe not coming that well onto the camera, but there is actually quite a fun play in between the pink lemonium and the blue lemonium. I'm not quite sure if you're able to see it, but those slightly those two tones that actually on first look just looks like the same, looks quite interesting when you have them together, working together as they do.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. Well done.
Thank you.
You haven't done body decor on the webinars before, so this is good.
That's a new one then.
Yeah, you've introduced Miss Betty to it.
And if people think that would take ages, I could say it took 20 minutes.
20 minutes, excellent. Yeah. There you go. Especially with the broken pieces. I once saw well, frankly, a hideous so-called design from someone who had, you know how in carnations, dianthus, there's always broken heads in the bundles. And this florist, so-called, took all these individual, but she had every color on earth, right, and rammed them into foam and was selling them at the front door. And I had to be physically removed because I was going to go in and have a chat with her about what she could have done with these things. Oh no, Alison, shut up. So what are we on to now, darling?
Yes, now we're on to another design piece, and this is coming on a table because then it's easier to show you.
Gorgeous.
This is another piece working on the cold warm contrast. So this has just a slightly pinch of bluish, that would be the cold thing, and then it's mainly of the made out of the warm colors.
Warm colors, yeah.
And what I wanted to show here is this is, I would think, a really, really, really northern looking piece, maybe not in the color, but in the way of working, because this piece is done in free line order. A way I really, really love working, mostly because you need to show the line of the flowers as well as you need to know where you're going to place the floral head.
Yeah.
So this is just a huge mix of mostly Danziger. I just have two roses here that is not a Danziger variety, and I have three calla lilies.
Brilliant. Well, that actually, Danziger do grow roses, but I haven't personally come across them yet.
No, they have a new variety this year, so maybe it was from last year, I'm not quite sure. That is yellow, pinkish, orange, peachy. That is a really gorgeous rose. I would have loved that it was that I would have been able to have that, because I would really love to see it in first sight.
Yeah, in real life, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for the base, is that a wrapped leaf base there?
Yeah, yes, it's totally classic, to be honest. This is just a totally normal glass vase. I didn't want it to be as big as a big, what do we say? I didn't want it to be that big of a story.
Sure. So
I just did a normal wrap in aspidistra leaves, and there's a Oasis floral foam in the middle, and then I just covered it with this is actually cut off from asparagus that I was just going to throw out anyway. So I just used that to cover the Oasis, and then the good thing about that is it covers the Oasis, and then it's still possible to poke through. So when you're working in this way, it's still quite easy to get into the foam.
It's quite funny. When I used to teach, one of the biggest things, and this is going back when floral foam was almost essential in design. And I remember one woman standing saying, "It's so difficult covering this green stuff." And she was ramming, boom, 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 to try and cover up the green stuff, and completely missing the whole point of the whole concept of the thing. So tell me, do you have any specific colors that are more on trend just now than others? You spoke earlier about how yellow for brides came on board a few years ago, and now it's sort of lessened off quite a bit. But how about in Denmark? Are there any specific colors that are on trend?
Well, to be honest, we've gone through a long period that everything that was off-colored was quite trendy.
Yeah, right, okay.
So all of those brownish powder colors and stuff like that, teal. But there is a little bit of change, and I think actually I see it in the rest of the world for the moment, maybe because, well, COVID is mostly gone.
Yeah.
A lot of places in Denmark is, and that joy that brings, I think I see it in floristry as well, because I see stronger colors used for the moment that have been used, that I have seen for a long period.
Yeah. I certainly would agree with you there. It's something that's quite noticeable. That and the fact that a lot of florists are now making an identifiable effort to stand away from anything that is not that it says made by a florist kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a sensible way to go. So, and in your case, you were talking about how you had some pre-made things ready to go just in case. I'm wondering if you've come across this other trend that's going on and has been going on for about 3 years now, which is brides leaving it to the last minute to book their flowers. And we've had, you're laughing already, we've got cases of florists who are tearing their hair out if they had any hair. I'm particularly talking about a young, well, not that young, a guy I know. And he says he's getting requests up to an hour in advance because they've forgotten to organize the flowers.
Well, can I do the harsh answer on that?
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. The ongoing trend for the moment with free stems and stuff like that, not a fan at all. Maybe because we have a long story of not doing that in Denmark, or actually in the northern countries and Germany. But with that look, the look is so extremely close onto what you would normally get in a floral shop. And when I'm getting a normal bouquet, I can just walk in from the street and I can just get it with me. And I think actually that is why we are having that issue, because, well, this could just be a normal bouquet. I know it's not, but the look of it is.
Yeah.
And when a bridal bouquet does have that look, why should I understand as a bride I need to come on beforehand?
Yeah.
Because, well, it looks like something that has just been picked up and gathered together and shipped outside.
Because I was talking to another florist who is from the UK. You'll know him, Morgan. And Morgan was saying the increase in demand for full wired bouquets. You know, this is like the British technique of wires. I remember a very famous friend of mine who came over and said, why is it the British use so many different types of wire in one bridal bouquet? And I said, because it's needed. And he tended to work with only 2 gauges of wire. Now, this florist is saying that he introduced a couple of full wired, properly wired bouquets, you know, teardrop shape. And since he did that, he's had 130 brides asking for fully wired cascading bouquets. And that really is a florist trademark, you know?
Yeah. Mostly because it's, well that I'm teaching bridal bouquets as well at school. And usually, as I say to the students when they start, well, this is not easy. Sorry, there's nothing good to be said about it. It's not easy. That is why you need to learn it. Yeah. And it's hard. But I love the look that a wired bouquet has. And I love the balance it has, and I love the handle. Sorry, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And well, I'm using a normal little trick here in Denmark. I know that the other countries would be a little bit different because the way you work with a bride is a little bit different. But my trick is always saying when they want free stems, I said, cool with me. I will do it if you want it. I just want you to sign this document saying that if you get a spot in your dress, it's not my problem. It works every time. Sorry, it does. It really does. The amount of free stems I've done for the last year, I think I've made 1 or 2.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? You know, people have said to me for years, how come the brides that I used to work with always had very unique looks, how it was always different? And I said, because people came to me because they wanted different, because they knew that I could do different. If you don't let your potential client base know that you can do different, if you're doing the same as everyone else, you've lost the war already, you know, you have. So to be able to turn your hand to any technique is essential. Jane apparently likes this part of the discussion. She's saying brilliant. So thank you, Jane. So have you anything else to show us? Because it's been non-stop showing us things.
Yeah, I have one last thing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. This would actually because I wanted to try this technique because I have never tried it before.
Okay, here we go.
So this is what Mr. Gregor Lersch would tell it is a freestanding bouquet.
Yes, it's
done on a point. And to be honest, I've never tried this technique, so I thought, well, if I'm going to try it, it could be today.
Yes, it's today.
So what this is, well, this technique does quite need some work. My one of the best thing about the way I work is I'm quite good at analyzing how to do it, and then maybe it would work and maybe it would not. But that was my go-to for this one.
Good.
It is, I think I can place it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I made 5 legs.
Okay.
And that is actually what that is holding the bouquet.
Yeah.
The combination of this and those 2 legs out here.
Out there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that would just make it stable enough so it can actually stand.
That's very transportable as well.
It is. And well, the funny thing would be if I would be doing this for a Danish championship. I know the discussion would be: is it arrangement or is it a bouquet? But 2 things. First of all, it's not connected to the base.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the main things about being a bouquet.
Yeah.
And it has 1 dominating tie point, so it would technically be a bouquet.
That's exactly what Jane's asking. How many tie points has it got? So 1 main tie point.
Yeah, it has 1 main and of course a lot of other tie points as well. So if you're going to work in this this type of design, and then and if you is going to pass it as a bouquet, it would need 1 dominating point.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be arrangement. Yeah. So I made these 5 legs, and then they are gathered into the middle, and I made an U shape. That is the base. This is going up here on both sides. And then this is one of the native green stuff we have in Denmark. I'm not quite sure what it's called, to be honest. I know the Danish name, but I don't know the Latin name. Okay. Sorry. This we need Mr. Gregor Lersch for. Sorry. But I made this, so I made the U shape and connecting a couple of branches before I added flowers, so it would be stable. So I knew when I was going to tie flowers into this construction, I knew that it would be able to stand.
Yes, yes, yes.
So everything here is tied parallel around the construction on this side. This is of course made asymmetrically, mostly because I prefer things being asymmetrical, not symmetrically. So the only thing I'm going to just add for the last thing is a contrasting line. I already have 1 contrasting line going this way with a color, and I have another one that is going inside this. These 2 calla lilies have been placed in a tube. Actually, a really good technique if you need to move the stem from water. This is a normal orchid tube that has been taped onto 2 pieces of stop wire, and then I covered it with this the Oasis bind wire.
Paper covered wire. Yeah.
What's mostly important is that it's it's T-shaped in this area, because when I just tie these points onto a place, it's stable, so it won't.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's a really good tip. Yeah, great.
So
Lovely.
I will just see how long it should be.
It's interesting because we had a question on one of the other webinars from a very nice lady in the UK who said she's really tempted to do this kind of design.
Yeah.
But she's nervous about transportation, you know, to her customers. And I said, well, actually, it's the easiest thing. Shouldn't say, but it is the easiest thing in the world. If you've got the mechanic right, you just take the container, slap it down, some water in it, and you know that the design is in water.
Yeah.
A big bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is 2 types of scabiosa in this one. There is 2 types of lemonium. There is this, I actually forgot to mention this one. This is the Veronica. I really like this variety because it's
hang on. This is oh goodness, Skylar, yes?
Yes, it is.
Skylar, yeah, I love Skylar. Everybody's raving about it.
And I love it because it's not just one flower, but it has a lot of flowers.
Yeah, yeah. Lorraine's loving this, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the fun thing here with for me was just adding a couple of the sun dries, because they have some colors again that is not easy to get in that amount. So that would be what I've done together with this.
I'm being asked, are the wires tied in through the binding? Are the wires tied in through the binding point?
Yes. Well, I'm horrible at sketching, but I can do a sketch.
Actually, you're not bad at sketching, don't lie. Okay, this message has come through via Facebook, so I can't answer the person directly here. So, but if you answer, that would be great. So yes, it is done through the binding point. Yeah.
Yes. Look here. The construction before I added flowers is having this shape. Yeah. And then this is the center of my binding point.
Yeah.
And everything is tied around this. I was a little bit curious when I started to add, because I was not I didn't know if it was easy if it was best just to stand with it in my hand, or just to have it standing on the table. But actually it showed itself that it was easier just to have it in your hand, because everything is so stable, so you can just place flowers in.
Exactly.
And then you can cut everything in the right height when everything is done, and then it's just placed down and everything just stands really stable.
Making the mechanic first and then adding flowers, then do the bind point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is incorporated. Yeah. Well, I think it's great, Dan. Thanks so much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been great. Now, if anybody's got any more questions, now is the time to ask those questions. Although, if you go onto our Danziger Live Facebook page and join it, you know, whatever, like it, whatever, you can communicate your questions to Dan, because he can monitor this. Here you go. I'm not sure the name has been abbreviated. How many wires have been used? Okay, here 5 feet. Yes.
Yes, and every feet is made out of 3 wires.
Okay, so that's then 10 wires.
50.
50 wires.
15, not 50. 15.
Mine's a gin and tonic, darling. Okay. I hate tonic, if I ever told you that. Wonderful insights. Thank you very much from Heidi. Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Heidi, where are you based? I'm not sure where, you haven't told me where you come from, darling. Anyway, I think it's been great, Dan. Thanks so very much indeed. But as I say, if you follow the Danziger Live page, and this whole webinar will go live. Oh, she's from California. Lucky girl. I love, don't you love California? Have you been to California, Dan?
No, the only American state I've been in is Florida, but it's nice as well.
Okay, well, California is, I just love California because the wildflowers you guys grow over there are amazing. And I have some really good chums down San Diego way. And there's a place near San Diego that a terribly nice man, Rennie van Reems, you maybe know, who's Dutch, but his parents moved to America. But you see all these flowers growing. It's like looking at a living floral rainbow. California is wonderful for that, it really is. Beautiful. Well, oh, excellent presentation. And thank you from Lee. Lee comes from, you will know Lee actually from Canada. She's, oh, Catherine Carr saying thank you, and it's so interesting. Oh, Helen from Michigan. Helen, I've never been to Michigan. I'm sure it's fabulous, but I'm sure Dan would love to. Wouldn't you love to go to Michigan?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Michigan, but you definitely like California. I can tell you that the wine is and Fabio saying thank. Oh, Fabio, how are you, sweetie? Anyway, it's been great. And as I say, anyone, oh, Amanda's just come in. Oh, darling. Mary from Oklahoma. Holy moly, America's opening up to us. Oklahoma.
I do.
You should know, because you're a great one for musicals as well. Great ideas and a wonderful presentation. Oh,
Thank you.
Nice, Dan. Yeah. You can't believe it, but some people think Dan's shy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In
Dan,
real life,
if I may add, it was beautiful and very inspiring. So thank you very, very much for joining at Danziger Live and to contribute from your expertise and knowledge and your creativity to all of the people that we have here today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
On behalf of Danziger. And I do invite everyone, if you have further questions, please feel free to do it on our Danziger Live Facebook page. And of course, follow us on Instagram and share with us your design. It's our pleasure to promote them and to share it with everyone in our community. And thank you very much. And we look forward to see you on our next Danziger Live. Yeah, go ahead, Alison.
And can I flag up that this is quite an exciting new project that we're going into. Subject to technical no mishaps, we're going to connect up with Colombia and take our people who follow us through the trial fields in Colombia so that people can see how the selection process is made and how the flowers are grown. And I think it's going to be super exciting. I've never been to Colombia, but it all sounds really cool. So long as the Wi-Fi works. And the other thing is just to let you know that the next Danziger Live will not be until September. So it's at the end of August, beginning of September for the live streams, Betty. And then on the 12th of September, all going well, we'll be in Belgium with the darling Stefan van Berlo. So thanks for joining us. And Danziger, thanks for hosting this. You fabulous. And Dan, love you to bits, darling.
Thank you for having me.
And keep the hat. I like it.
I will.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.